running late, but I really just, before I calls to order, I just wanted to quickly acknowledge the events of this week. I think it's important. And first, that this trial verdict, and just to let you know that it is my hope that in this ongoing struggle for justice that we will push us to imagine a system of public safety where Black lives are treated with dignity. And that being said, I know today's Dante Wright's funeral and Micaiah Bryant's will be soon after. So in my faith, we say, may their memory be a blessing. And I would also add a catalyst for change. So just wanted to acknowledge this week. And with that, it is the Seed School of Los Angeles County Board of Directors special meeting, April 22nd, 2021, 9/11. This meeting is called to order.
Okay. And I will just do a quick roll call. Do we have Miss Sarah Ali?
Present.
We have Miss Isabella Costa. We have Miss Jennifer Price Lesher. Miss Sylvia Echeverria.
Present.
Dr. Jackie Kimbrough. Miss Ruth Stalford.
Present.
And Mr. Rod Hamilton. Okay, so we have 4 of the members present in quorum, and just as usual, asking for everyone to consent to the recording of this meeting.
Consent.
I'll hand it back to you.
While I don't know that except for Brian, this is our public comment section. I don't think there is any public comment, so we can move on to the next item, which is the Cdla finance resolutions. And my understanding, so we are going to move into a closed session for that to discuss it a little bit further, but I just wanted to make sure that everyone had seen the resolutions and had time to read through the documents.
No.
Sorry, I just have to move my screen, hang on. Okay.
And then just as a reminder, there will be no actions taken during closed session or decisions made.
Right.
It's purely for deliberative purposes only.
So I think with that, we should probably move into closed session, and then the board can discuss any specific questions, and then we can come back out. And right? Am I missing anything?
This is Brian. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm not certain that you have the right kind of closed sessions scheduled here on the agenda. Under the Brown Act, there are very limited matters that can be just discussed in closed session. On what exception are you relying to hold this discussion in closed session rather than before the public?
Good question, Brian.
The intent was to give board members the opportunity to discuss with the vote and any actions coming in the open session.
I mean, if there's something specifically, but I think we can walk through the resolutions if we just need to.
Yeah, I think we can do that. I think we can.
Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Can
you hear us, Leslie?
Anymore.
Yes, we can hear you, Leslie.
Oh, I couldn't hear you anymore. Okay.
So then why don't we just do that?
Why don't we do that?
Okay.
Thank you, Brian. I was going to say we may need a parliamentarian down the road for this stuff. So let's just, we don't need to move into closed session, and let's just move through any questions that we might have. Hopefully everyone has had a chance to look through the document. And let's see. So Leslie, I only had one question.
Okay, and so Ruth, I will just say, so what's in front of us, and Brian and Laura, feel free to weigh in. is a collection of resolutions that are required period, and some of which are required by various documents within our financing deal and by our capital partners. And instead of having a series of resolutions, all of them are actually captured here, and all of them at some, there is some document, there is some capital partner that is requiring said resolutions to actually be approved by the Seed Los Angeles board on our pathway to closing, which we are believing and hoping to still be within by the end of this month. And so I just wanted to note that. I think it's just easier if there are questions that people have. There are questions that people have specifically about any area of the resolutions, please lift that up. And before we take questions, Ruth, I just want to see if Brian or Nelora have anything they want to add to that.
I don't.
This is Brian. I think you've accurately captured it. It's important to all the parties to this transaction that the transaction be approved by the Cdla board, so that the officers of Cdla who are signing the various documents have the authority to do so, and the organization has authorized entry into the transaction. Personally, it's important to me that there be resolutions because I have to give a legal opinion that the board has approved the transaction. So I like to see that actually happens.
Great. And so, Ruth, I think it'd be helpful, like if you or other board members, as we're sort of perusing this, have any questions, we can answer those questions before you put it to a motion.
Yeah, I actually, I have a question just in the guarantee part of this. There's the whole, we're proposing these guaranteed payments. I think it's page 6.
Yeah.
I just want to ask, how are we funding those guarantees? Do we have any resources? Do we?
Yeah, let me give a little bit of some background. So maybe about 4 months ago, sorry you all for the puppy, maybe about 4 months ago, the CDFIs and then subsequently Chase requested that the Seed Foundation provide a completion guarantee for the project. And now this is super high level, but I think we've discussed this before. And that completion guarantee would only be triggered if for some reason there was a significant delay, significant overage, right? So the project was delayed, the project didn't get completed. That would trigger the guarantee, and we will definitely, Woody, let's actually get the guarantee, share the guarantee with the entire board, and we can review it next Tuesday. But that is it. They are asking the Seed Foundation, as other lenders have with our other schools, to provide a completion guarantee for the project. I think our assumption is that, like, a couple things. One, if all goes well, the guarantee would never be triggered, but also the thing that the Seed Foundation would have done anyway, right? Like, so if in 12 months we actually had a significant overage that we needed to have another $500,000 for, what we would have done anyway is actually step in and help to raise that money, to identify that money, and to solve that problem. And so because it is what we would have done, we have agreed to do this guarantee. Ruth, to your specific question, within the deal, I'm trying to see everyone's face here. Within the specific deal, the Seed School of Los Angeles is contributing about $26 million, and that is from our fundraising. There is a interest payment because it is technically a loan into the structure of the deal. There is a interest payment from that $26 million. The sum of it is about $400 and maybe $49,000 or $67,000. That interest payment to Cdla is encumbered initially because until the CEQA matters and other the CEQA matter, the legal issue around the CEQA challenge is actually resolved. And at that point in which it was resolved, that money flows to Cdla. We are going to set that money aside until completion, right? So it is not going to flow after the CEQA matter is taken care of. We're not going to put that in the general coffers and just start spending it. We're going to keep it set aside should there be a need for additional funds. Is everyone following me? Okay. Nelora,
Ruth,
anything that?
This is Brian. Was the question the Seed Foundation guarantee or all the guarantees that Cdla is supposed to be signing?
I think it was the Seed Foundation guarantee. I think it was actually if in fact there was any resource, should there be a need for additional dollars outside of the contingencies that are currently listed in the deal. And Ruth is shaking her head saying yes.
Yes, and I'm even off mute. I don't know why I'm shaking my head. Yes.
Well, Leslie's absolutely correct that if the project goes as budgeted, then no one should ever have to honor any guarantee because the project will be funded and constructed as budgeted. It's only in the event of unexpected delays or cost overruns that there should be an issue.
And I would say excessive cost overruns that exceed the current contingencies. Nelora, anything you want to add?
No, I think that covers it.
Okay. Sarah, were you getting ready to ask a question? Okay.
No, thanks though.
Great. I think the only other thing I would say, Ruth, not captured, right, because we were talking about the set aside, and we can have this conversation next week, is that we will lay out for the board like what the other expenses are outside of the construction project next week. Well, but they're pretty detailed to include those expenses that are part of EXIT, the Seed Foundation, and Cdla.
Right.
It's just a total just north of about $2.3 million.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
Great.
Okay, so I don't want to move on. I don't want to move to a vote if there are any outstanding questions. I really want to make sure everybody was able to digest this. And if there are any additional questions, let's take a breath and make sure everyone's seen it and feels okay moving forward to the vote, the adoption. All right, well, I guess. All right. And Brian, you can correct us if we need correcting, but the motion is on the screen. Would someone like to bring the motion to the floor, or I can?
Ruth, I move to accept and adopt the 2021 financing resolutions as presented at our meeting today, April 22nd, 2021.
Bring a second.
Second, Kimbrough.
So let's do all those in favor say aye. I think we'll just do a poll. We'll do a roll call. Woody, would you mind? I guess it'd be Ruth Salford, aye.
All right, Sarah Ali,
Aye.
Jackie Kimbrough,
Aye.
Sophia Echeverria.
Aye.
I believe that's all present. Did Rod Hamilton join us? Jennifer Price Lesher? Or Isabella Costa?
Nope.
So 4 ayes and 3 absent. The ayes have it.
The ayes have it. The motion is adopted. The Cdla board moves to accept and adopt the 2021 financing resolutions as presented at the April 22nd, 2021 meeting.
Hold on, I have a question. How many board members do we have?
7.
7.
7.
How many are voting for the resolution? Because you need 4.
We have
4.
4.
Oh, okay. All right.
So to recap, we have myself, Sarah, Ruth, Jackie, and Sophia, 4 of the 7.
Okay. I missed one. I was counting only 6. Thank you.
Yep. Well, anything else we need to discuss while we are all here related to this topic?
I'll just mention that the Seed Support Corp Board is going to also have to adopt resolutions similar to these. They can do that either by a video board meeting or by unanimous written consent, whichever is easier.
Oh,
But we
great.
don't have to do an agenda and comply with the Brown Act, so that should be less painful.
Is that the support court specifically? I'm just curious.
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, well, we will make sure we get that done. And I know Woody sent out a placeholder for next week, and so any information related to that meeting will go out soon. Any other questions?
No, I just want to thank everyone for, I know that this is a lot in a short period of time, but I just want to thank everyone for prioritizing this time, and thank you in advance for prioritizing next week. We are really making great progress, and I think and I just appreciate everyone's work to get us to this point.
I second that. So thank you, everyone. Oh.
Agreed. The feeling's mutual, appreciation all around. I know it's a really big effort on all sides. So thank you, everybody.
All right. With that being said, it is 9:28. The Seed School of Los Angeles County Board of Directors special meeting is adjourned.
Good job.
Very good.
Thanks, Brian.